What is a great and simple prank that you like to play on people? At night, when the house is dark, enter before your significant other. Go into a dark room where you know they are headed. Hide against the wall where you can't be seen, and place your hand on the light switch. When they enter the dark room and reach for the light switch, and instead feel a hand, be prepared to perform CPR. You sick freak. Around the office, reset people's Windows sounds, random ones. Like when you maximize a window it plays the sound of a dolphin. Office folk aren't smart enough to even understand what's happening. 1. Empty out a jar of mayonnaise. 2. Prepare vanilla pudding. 3. Place the pudding in the empty jar. 4. Eat it in front of people. I just realized I might have been ripped off 7 years ago. Senior year of high school. Kid says he will eat an entire jar, small size of mayo for cash. People, including me, started throwing money down on the table to see him eat it. He finished the whole thing, made it look easy, too easy. Oh god, this reminded me of one I do in the spring. Whenever my wife and I are out for a car ride, and I see a sprinkler that sprays on the road, I slow down a bit, put the passenger window down and time it so that the water sprays into the car. It's more fun if your passenger doesn't realize what's going on until they get wet. My wife hates that, but she also laughs uncontrollably whenever I successfully pull it off. About 2-3 times a year. My grandma actually did that to me once. It made me love her so much more. In college some friends were in a prank war. One of the pranks involved Team A posting a Craigslist ad for a huge yard sale this Saturday 5 AM at the very unsuspecting Team B house. In the middle of the night Team A threw a bunch of junk in the front yard of Team B's house and put up a sign that said the good stuff's inside. Team B rarely locked their doors. My friend whose room was in the dining room area of the house woke up to a 60-year-old woman in his bedroom asking, "Where's the good stuff?" When I'm at a get-together and waiting for somebody to come out of the bathroom, or sometimes just for the heck of it, and I know they're about to come out, hear flushing, sink, etc., I'll stand right up against the door, open my eyes as wide as I can, and hold the blank stare. It's usually a good thing they just emptied themselves seconds before. I think it's particularly effective because it catches them in the last few seconds of bathroom vulnerable mode before they've put their mental social hat back on. Catches them in the last few seconds of bathroom vulnerable mode before they've put their mental social hat back on. Whoa, I always called it a ploop, short for poop loop. I can go pee and it's no big deal. Walk right out same as I went in. If I poop though, man, I have a slight existential crisis every time I leave the bathroom after that. Old and classic. Take a high quality print screen of the desktop. Set as wallpaper and remove actual desktop icons. Watch them get mad with frozen desktop and reboot endlessly. Similar. Create a new folder on their desktop. Call it something obscene. Horse PR0N works well. Take a print screen. Set that as their background. Delete the new folder. Sometimes, when I'm first at a stoplight with a car on my left and nobody behind me, I'll put my car in reverse and slowly back up. The car to my left thinks they're slowly pulling out into traffic, and you can see a moment of panic on their face that's just great. My dad and uncle used to teamwork this when they could drive up on either side of the mark. Duct tape a harmonica under the front bumper of your friend's car. Whether they come to realize there's a strange sound or not, still makes for a good time of people laughing as they drive by. My roommate was asleep after a long night. My school unexpectedly had helicopter tours in the morning, and all you could hear in the dorm was the helicopter engine doing bypasses of the school. I decided to run into the room, turn the lights on, grab an empty suitcase and pack my crap frantically while screaming China's invaded. China's landed. We gotta go while the copter engine was flying overhead. My roommate hopped out of bed in a dead panic, ran around the room and packed a ton of his crap until I couldn't hold in the laughter anymore and had to fill him in. He still hasn't let it go. Now when China actually invades, your roommate won't react. You just killed him. At parties when a vodka bottle runs out I quietly go fill it up partially with water. It's hilarious watching people take shots of what they think is vodka while remarking, "Oh man, I am so drunk this crap tastes like water." My friend got a bottle of Patron one time for his birthday. He saved the bottle and at random parties would fill it with pop-off or other cheap crappy liquor. He would invite people to do a round of shots. The placebo effect was amazing. It's so smooth. It goes down so easy. Dang, this is good. I can see why it's so expensive. Driving on a long road trip with a passenger. If your passenger falls asleep, drive into the next truck stop you see. Once there, find a parked semi-tractor and pull up to it facing the grill. Honk your horn and scream as loudly as possible. Clean pee from passenger's seat. I am definitely going to try this. Place pennies on top of their ceiling fan blades. I'm talking $5 worth. Make sure the fan is set to where the lower side of the fan blades let in the fan's rotation. When they turn the fan on next time they enter the room, the pennies won't fly off right away because they're fighting the slope of the fan blade. Then, penny apocalypse. Bonus points if they are all but pennies. For as long as I can remember, my grandpa had a life-sized cardboard cutout of John Wayne that was at one time used as a beer advertisement. Every time I went in his basement and I wasn't thinking, I'd turn around and see John Wayne smiling at me. It was the scariest thing ever. When he died, I decided to take the thing home, and over the next few weeks I would put him behind closed doors in my house. Imagine opening a closed door and a life-size John Wayne is just standing there smiling and staring into your soul. My parents' reactions were absolutely hilarious until they took the thing away from me. I never saw that thing again. We did the same, only with a life-size Austin Powers that had a motion-activated baby as well. It became used for deliberate attacks. I'm talking behind the shower curtain, in the backseat of the car, everywhere. My dad was a crafty bee. Casually telling someone in a bar that the bathroom door they're going into is for the wrong gender. Fill a manila envelope with shaving cream. Put the open end through a door crack. Jump on the full end. Dropping a book works better. Get a wireless USB keyboard. Plug it into the new text machine and introduce him to Sergey, the Russian hacker. Laugh and be merry until your target starts to cry and you get confused, so you panic and leave early for the day. On a similar vein, my next door neighbor in my dorm freshman year of college had a wireless printer. One day she was just chilling in her room when her printer started up and printed out a single page with one word on it. Yo. She kept it wired after that. I taped a supervisor's banana 10 feet above his desk. I wasn't there when he found it, but I was told that he got so angry that he started cussing and screaming and hitting things. He went bananas, you might say. For some reason my stepdad has a bobblehead armadillo that's about the size of a rat, but I feel like anything creepy would have worked just as well. And when I was in high school I started hiding it in random places throughout the house. Starting with the microwave. It would always scare the crap out of my parents when they stumbled upon it, especially my stepdad, who would scream like a girl every time. Eventually they started hiding it too and got me back a few times. Get everyone to upvote you and tell you what a great idea your prank is, and when you get to the top, delete the original comment. I did this to my brother one time. I couldn't come back in the house for a few hours. When someone is in the shower, get a handful of glitter and throw it over the curtain. They'll sparkle for days. This isn't a prank, they just get out and look fabulous. This is not so much a prank, but a fun way to frick with people. When at some sort of popular tourist thing, when in a crowd, marvel at something that is so obviously wrong no one will believe the words came out of your mouth. For instance, I have done both of the following. At the Alamo, standing inside the crowded gift shop, I said aloud how amazing it was that the gift shop survived the battle intact. At the Mt. St. Helens Observatory, I remarked loudly about how the volcano missed the parking lot and observatory completely. Heck, it didn't even get onto the road leading in. My wife and daughters wanted to crawl into a hole and die, while I was grinning and having a great time. People like you cause a significant amount of rage comics that end with the Jackie Chan WTF face. This is childish but fun. Pour pop rocks down a sink. Once they hit the water in the trap, they will pop for quite a while. Call your wife in to listen. It sounds like a million ravenous insects are about to emerge from the sink drain. Laugh at your wife as she quickly backs away from what she believes is sudden portal into bug heck. Fess up. Sleep on couch. Well, it's fun for at least half the people involved. If someone is walking behind me, I like to slow down to the point where they're close, then stop and bend over really quick as if I'm picking something up. Then they ram into my butt, and I turn around and give them a sly look. Hey buddy. I knew a guy who used to do that. Took him a while to come out of the closet. Using Skype, mute your mic and open a conference call between yourself and two other people's phones. Neither person will believe that the other person didn't call them, and you can listen in on their confusion. When I was still working in restaurants, we would always pull one of these pranks on the new people. 1. They had to drain the water from the coffee machine as part of their closing duties. The machine is hooked up to a water line, so it's a continuous flow of water. Typically the new person would fill 2-3 gallon containers before they would figure it out. 2. Another closing duty was to grab one of the massive food trays and air out the walk-in fridge with it. 3. This one was actually my favorite. During a shift we would tell them that we needed them to run next door to borrow a left-handed saute pan and or a chicken stretcher. Most of the time the restaurant next to us would play along and say that they loaned it to the next one over. One time we had a guy drive about 5 miles down the road to another restaurant that had no idea what was going on. I was mentoring for a carpenter who used to pull crap like that. One day he told me to get a rubber hammer. I told him they weren't real. He told me he was gonna get a rubber hammer and knock me over the head with it. I laughed at him up until he came back with a rubber hammer. Petroleum jelly on the toilet seat always cracks me up. I've started as the victim of that prank and I can attest, it feels freaking gross. Nice. I'm a fan of petroleum jelly under a car door handle. It won't do anything besides feel gross, but what really makes it effective is you can't see what just got all over your hand. When I get a Mormon JW at the door, say hi. Just 1 sec, close the door. Yell to my housemate that someone is at the door for him/her and go back to the couch and listen for lols. Have done this to every person who has lived with me. Another hobby prank is to convince people I know some random who appears in the credits of a movie. Egg, no way. Mark Dilleth is doing the sound editing also. Convince GF that George Lucas's mum's name was Martha Vader Lucas and he didn't have a good relationship with her, thus spawning the idea for Darth Vader. The random person in the credits one is brilliant. I do this every once in a while. Whenever I have someone over to my house and they use the bathroom, I wait until they come out and say, "You didn't just flush that toilet, did you?" The response is always hilarious, especially if they were in there dropping a deuce. One time before going to the bog hole at my friend's house, he told me not to flush. After my business, I thought what a joker, telling me not to flush and flushed. Crap overflowed everywhere. Needless to say, I never went back. Get a tomato and approach a friend. Ask them if they'd like to try a Hawaiian apple and hand them the tomato. If they fall for it, the results are hilarious. It's harmless fun. My first time eating at a Japanese steakhouse, I was given pure wasabi and told it was candy. One of my co-workers left their computer unlocked during their lunch. I went into their Microsoft Office settings and set it up so commonly used words changed. This sets for all Office programs, including Outlook, which we used for emails. Words like the, it, and, is all changed to different vegetables. Listening carefully, I heard him go, "How the heck? Did you know that they make scented pool liners now? You should go smell the bottom of this pool and tell me what you think it smells like." If you have a buddy with a girlfriend, have him go up from behind and put his arms around her waist. Hopefully, she will recognize his arms and not turn around to see him. Then have another buddy creep up from behind and whisper hi, insert girl's name. If all goes to plan, she'll think some random guy has his arms around her and she'll lose her crap. I remember a friend of mine was making out with his girlfriend at a party, so I put this wig that was lying around on his head. She looked up and absolutely freaked out. It was kind of dark. Jumps off the couch, screams and pretty much pushes him away pretty hard. Couldn't stop laughing. My brilliant girlfriend pulled one on me when we were on a trip with her family to her grandparents' place a summer ago. She snuck into my room in the middle of the night and filled my pants pocket with salt. It's so freaking dumb, but when I noticed it, I spent a solid 10 minutes trying to figure out why the heck there was so much salt in my pants. I really like this. I can easily imagine myself totally flummoxed by finding a bunch of salt in my pocket. Walking by white people playing rap with their windows down always results in them turning it off, upping their windows, and locking the door. A friend left us at his house while he went out to get some food. We took it upon ourselves to turn every item in his room upside down. Everything on his desk, all his posters, everything in his drawers, etc. He told us he'd never leave us in his house alone again. So the second time he left us in his house alone, we hurried off to Walmart and bought a bunch of party supplies. We then proceeded to put streamers and balloons and all other fun things in his closet. We called it Party Closet. He called us buttholes. Get a copy of a friend's car key. Ask friend to meet you somewhere. Have a second friend come and steal the mark's car and return it to their house. When your friend realizes his car is missing and thinks it's stolen, tell him you drove together and his car was never there. Then drive him home to prove it. Then watch as his brain explodes. Go to someone's Facebook and change their birthday. One of two things will happen. 1. When their birthday comes, nobody will tell them happy birthday for Verilone JPG. 2. On some random day they'll get hundreds of wall posts for no reason. Also fun, just write a random happy birthday post on someone's wall. Sometimes other will follow lead and it can spiral out of control. 1. Get a group of 10-15 friends together. 2. Go to the zoo. 3. As a group, run full speed through the zoo looking scared and yelling, "Ruin." D. Get 11 people and each of you dress as a different doctor while doing that. I had a friend who would get chicks that didn't know me to come ask me how fast my dad runs. When they would, I would either get super angry or super sad looking and yell, "My dad doesn't have any legs," then run off. The looks on those poor girls' faces. We had many laughs. Terribly cruel, but funny. If you're ever out in the wilderness hiking with a group of people, lay down some milk duds up trailerways. When you get to there, stop the party and say, "Wait a minute, that looks like beaver scat," or something like that. Then pick one up and start chewing on it. Yep, definitely beaver scat. Go to the beach early one morning, dig a couple holes, put inflated balloons in holes and then cover up with sand. Watch as the beach starts to get filled and people walk over landmines. 1. Secretly shake bottle of soda. 2. Hand said bottle of soda to thirsty victim. 3. When they start to open the bottle, they will immediately enter a state of panic and confusion as the soda begins to erupt. 4. At this point, yell, "Quick, open the bottle upside down to relieve pressure." 5. 9 out of 10 times, your victim will fall for it and have a new pair of soda pants. 6. Laugh and point. 7. Run, optional. For kids in high school, may I recommend nuggeting? You take the backpack, remove all of its contents, flip the backpack inside out, and refill it. We called this turtling in high school. Same concept except you zip tie the two zippers to each other once everything is put back in. If you have a media center PC hooked up to your TV, prepare this for when some friends are around watching a movie. Take a photo of your bathroom, with camera held right up in one of the top corners. Make sure the light is on in the room. Save this picture onto your media PC. When they go to bathroom, movie list likely paused, so just open the image and have it full screen. As they come back in the room, just casually say you left the light on while pointing to the screen and watch them panic. For extra authenticity, you can make a HTML page with a JS clock overlaid on the image to make it look like a CCTV feed. Only done it once on the spur of the moment, but I'm sure it could be adapted to a number of situations. I used to work the door at a bar, and one night the mother of one of our waitresses called and left a message for her daughter, who wasn't in yet, to call her. It occurred to me that I might not be upfront when she came in, so to be sure she got the message, I went and told the bartender too. Then I realized she sometimes would come in early and sit and chat with the manager in his office for a while rather than going up to the bar. We were all pretty sociable with each other, so I gave him the message to relay to. Then I realized that it was now possible that she would actually end up getting the message from 3 different places. But 5 seconds later, I was waving down one of the other waitresses who was already working, then another, then the cook. Eventually the target came in. I said hello and call your mom as she walked past, and sat back and watched. It took about 4 or 5 of my unwitting pawns independently walking up and giving her the same message before she realized what was going on and started shaking her fist at me from across the room. Best part was that the whole thing had been dead for a good hour before the manager finally wandered up to the bar and saw her for the first time and told her to call her mom. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.